Welcome to Finding the Beat, where we'll talk to incredible people who found their rhythm in life, the moments that tested them, redirected them, and ultimately helped them discover their purpose. Today, I'm joined by someone who knows all about change and calling audibles. Former NFL player turned executive coach and motivational speaker, Nate Salley, also known as the Audible Coach. Nate, welcome to the show. My show is all about the journey. And I like to get right into talking about how people got to where they are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, people come on the show and the story starts not so well. Mm-hmm. And their childhood is sometimes pretty rough. Mm-hmm. Now, when I started looking into your past and looking at your history, and yours didn't start rough. You had some great role models.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You had some parents that were some great role models, owned their own business.
Yeah.
And you grew up right around the corner from me.
Yeah, man. Home sweet home.
You grew up and you went to St. Thomas, my rival high school.
Yeah.
and back in the day, it was Hollywood Hills versus St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Now I'm a lot older than you, even though I look pretty young.
You got more hair than me, so
there you go. When I was in high school, we didn't have recruiting, but St. Thomas was the school to go to. Michael Irvin, Boza Brothers.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, childhood was great, man. Oftentimes, no matter, I've had people that I know that grew up in very had a rough childhood, and others that may not have. But when you're that age, you don't know any better. You just think whatever life is at that point, that's what it is. And so it was fun growing up. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, where a lot of us, back in those days, we were outside all the time. So we played a lot of ball growing up in the neighborhood and things of that nature. And for me, one of my first role models obviously was my parents, seeing, how they worked hard and provided for us. My mom was an immigrant moved over from the Bahamas, cleaned houses for a living, and then, got her citizenship. And my dad is from a small town in South Carolina, and he built a roofing business. But as far as sports goes, my idol growing up was my big brother, man. My brother is 12 years older than me, and he just always played in the neighborhood. He was always bringing home a basketball rim because he could always dunk and would bring the goal home, and was so strong and powerful, and was always playing football with his friends. And for me, just being baby brother, I just kind of wanted to emulate what I saw from him. So for me, I was always outside, playing football, basketball, hide and seek, whatever the case may be. Playing baseball with a stick and a rock and making games up, man. And that's what childhood was like for me, just running around with my friends, being a kid, having dreams of, maybe playing in the NFL one day. I used to always wear an old beat up Barry Sanders jersey. I used to like the Detroit Lions. So I would do that. And, you just run around as kids with dreams, man. And that's kind of what childhood was like.
So where'd you play Optimist?
So I played at the Southwest Saints.
Yeah, there you go. I was a Red Raider. I was at Rotary.
All right, I love it, man. Yeah.
Let's not be modest, though. I mean, everyone wanted to go to St. Thomas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seriously, and the big thing for me, like that became a big goal for me once I started dreaming about going to college. For me, both of my siblings, they both dropped out of high school and had kids at the age of 16, which unfortunately was pretty normal in my neighborhood where I grew up at. Fortunately, they both gone back and gotten, their diplomas. But at that time, for me, when I decided I wanted to go to college, it was because I had an uncle, my mom's baby brother, came over from the Bahamas and went to St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we went to see him graduate, and something just lit up inside of me that said, hey, you're going to college. Like, this is something that you're going to do.
And how old were you then?
I was in the seventh grade. I never forget. I always tell the story. Say seventh grade changed my life, man. Seventh grade literally changed my life.
So where'd you get that motivation from? Was that from the parents?
No, it honestly was. I'm big on my faith. I believe. I didn't know it at the time. That was a nudge from God, man. Like my parents never like were on me. Hey, you better go to college. Like I went to my uncle's graduation, and in that moment when I saw him walk across the stage, something lit up inside of me, and basically was like, "That's for you." And when I got home, I said, Mom, Dad, I said, Raleigh seems like a pretty cool place. The Tar Heels aren't far from there. I love football. I love basketball. I'm going to college, and not only am I going to college, I'm going to the University of North Carolina. So can we paint my room Carolina blue? Because I want to wake up inside my dream each and every day. And my mom doesn't change much at my house where I grew up at. So my room's still Carolina blue to this
So
day when I
you and
go.
I are a marriage made in heaven. I'm a Hills guy. You're St. Thomas. My
Yeah.
dad went to Duke.
Ah,
So we're at Duke. You're at UNC. This
yeah,
is going to
yeah,
be a
man.
good friendship right here, Nate.
We're off to a good start. So,
We're off to a
yeah, man.
good start.
That and then once I decided I wanted to go to college, I if you know anything about St. Thomas, obviously Michael Irvin went to school there, and also if you get in there, you give yourself a great opportunity to go to college. So that's all I needed to know, man. And start. I had a principal in middle school. I went to Parkway Middle, and my principal at Parkway Middle happened to be Michael Irvin's uncle. And I put two and two together. They still had George Smith there. I'm like, they still got the same legendary coach. And me and one of my friends put two and two together that he knew the coach over at St. Thomas and he could help us get in there. So I walk into my principal's office, Mr. Dudley, as a seventh grade kid, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Dudley, I heard you know the head coach over at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, and I heard they send kids to college. I need you to help me get in there because I'm going to college." And that
Okay, so for
conversation changed
people
my life.
watching this, George
Yeah,
Smith is a
yeah,
legendary high school coach.
yeah,
You go to St. Thomas
yeah,
and you're an athlete, you're
yeah.
going to college
Oh yeah, oh
and you're
yeah,
going to a big school.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, for
you were
sure.
motivated from basically seventh grade, you're 12 years old,
Yeah, yeah,
around 11, 12 years old.
yeah.
You
12,
knew
13.
where you wanted to be. And,
Yeah.
and the NFL is in the back of the mind too. You want to be an NFL football player.
So honestly, in that moment, it was just I want to be the one that graduates high school and shows my nieces and nephews and the people that come from where I come from that there's more options out here than what we were seeing at that point. So for me, that was kind of what I took on. It wasn't hey, I want to make it to the NFL. It's like no, like I'm going to college. Like that was it.
College.
And then as I started doing well in high school, I never forget I had a coach. I was getting ready because I love football and basketball. I was getting prepared to quit football and just play basketball. And it was after my freshman year. I had only played freshman football. I didn't play varsity my freshman year. And as he heard that, he pulled me into a classroom in the hallway. And his name is Mr. Farrell. He was our defensive backs coach. And I played running back my freshman year on the freshman team. So he pulls me into a room and he says, "Nate, I heard you thinking about quitting football." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it, man. I think I just want to hoop." And he says, "Well, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but a lot of folks are saying that you remind them of the Michael Irvins and the Daryl Porters and different guys who had come to St. Thomas and made it to the NFL." And in that moment, that's where like making it to the NFL I believed him, and it felt real when he told me that. And fast forward like 3 years ago, I had one of my old teammates who was a junior going into my sophomore year. He told me about that conversation. He said Coach Farrell pulled me and some other guys that were playing both ways in the room, an upperclassman, and he said, "Hey man, like I know you play corner and receiver right now, but you're gonna have to stick to receiver because we got to get this kid Nate on the field." And I started my sophomore year. We won states, and the rest is kind of
Now,
history.
did you believe in yourself before you had that conversation with him?
Um, to that level, I can't say that I did because I didn't have an example that I could kind of pull from or that I had seen, but I did believe in hard work. I saw my mom and my dad work their butt off and provide a life for us that, when we didn't need for anything. So I knew that if you put your mind to something, and my mom has always instilled faith in me as well, like you believe in God and you have faith and you work hard, like you can make things happen. When things come to fruition. If you keep believing. So I always had that, but I didn't have anything like tangible to be able to say, well, this is where I saw that happen. You know what I mean? In my life to that point. But I did. It was something there that was just like I knew that I was put here for something more than what I grew up around. I knew that. I knew
So,
that it was.
let's talk about what you grew up around
Yeah.
because I started my career as a prosecutor.
Mm,
And the thing that really bothered me about the community that came into my courtroom
mm.
was the lack of hope
Yeah, man.
and and what they saw in their community was
Yeah.
the drug dealer who had the nice stuff
Yeah, man. Yeah.
and no one guiding them other than that person.
Yeah.
And if you wanted things, that
Yeah.
was the person that they looked to.
Yeah. so
Now,
true.
talk about when you talk about in your neighborhood. What do you mean by that? What were you seeing in your neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a lot like what you just shared, man. I remember playing basketball at, Westwood Heights Elementary School, and you see people selling dope on the sideline, right? And you see people fighting and doing different things. And my brother got involved in that life as well. And like you said, that's what happens when there's no hope, right? And where that is kind of glamorized, the person that has the money and the car and the loud music and all that stuff, like that's the stuff that you gravitate towards. And it's funny, man. I go home now and I have buddies. They were good kids. We all had very similar dreams, similar goals. The only thing that changed is at some point on our journeys, some of us lost hope and just felt like this is the only option. It is what it is. And others, myself and some others believed that there was something more on this earth for them that they were put here for. And they refused to just accept what they saw. And I always am so grateful also for my parents because although we lived where we lived, my dad was a roofer and he would always be out in like Jacaranda or Weston and all these different areas. So I would be able to see like that, all right, there is opportunity out here beyond just what we grew up around. My mom would clean houses out in those areas and I would go into these homes and in Fort Lauderdale, a lot of ranch style homes. So for me, if I see a two-story house, it's like, man, it's like a mansion. I'm walking in here helping my mom clean up. So I immediately saw like, all right, there is more to this world and more that we can accomplish and that we can have than just what we grew up around or just what we see maybe the dope boys have, you know what I mean, in the neighborhood. So that was always something. Hope is always the biggest thing, and that's what I try to infuse in people and obviously young people as well. Because once you lose hope, man, like it makes for a very sad situation. And so yeah, I have one.
Now, were you always the star athlete? I mean, you went to Ohio State and you played two sports, buddy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So when you were when you were in high school, I
Yeah,
mean, there were some serious athletes at St. Thomas. Let's be real.
yeah, yeah. No,
So,
it was, man. And
so
the funny thing is, I've never like people have always maybe saw things in me before I noticed it about myself. For me, I'm just like I would show up and I would say, no one's going to outwork me. I'm going to work as hard or harder than anybody. No one's going to like beat me in gassers. Like all the stuff that I can control, I'm going to make sure I show up and give it everything I've got. Right. And then I think now that I look back at it, I realize like, well, I was one of the best athletes, but in my mind, I never thought I had arrived to that level. I never did. So I always came in and worked like I was the last guy on the bench. Like, hey, when
and isn't that what made you one of the best?
I agree. Yeah, most definitely, man. Most
I
because
mean,
when I look
uh,
back, I was rarely the best player on any team that I was on. Like
there you go. But
talented
you didn't
guy.
know it.
Yeah, I didn't
You
know it.
didn't feel it. You
Yeah.
read Michael Jordan's book before he wrote the book, right? I mean, he went
Yeah,
to UNC, right?
yeah, man.
He was
Yeah,
there every morning before and left after everyone. That's
yeah,
you.
yeah. So yeah, just putting in, being willing to put in the work, man, and never thinking too highly of yourself. Like having that healthy balance of like, all right, I'm not battling with my confidence, but at the same time, I don't have this ego where I'm just stepping in and feel like, hey, I own the room. You know what I mean? I knew everything had to be earned, and I always had so much respect for the guys that I was competing with and against that I feel like it would be cheating the game for me not to show up. And like, even to this day, I play ball at the YMCA. And I know dudes in there probably think like I'm trying to win a national championship because like I only know how to do things like one way, especially when it comes to athletically and in life in general. Like I really only know how to do things one way. Like I coach my son's football team and I tell them I say we do things one way. I can care less who the opponent is. We show up and play one way, whether they're amazing and the toughest team we ever played before, or whether they're the worst team we ever played. We show up and we have a standard that we play up to. And you learn that stuff like at a St. Thomas, at Ohio State. It's like you. I always tell people like the thing that separated St. Thomas from a lot of our competition. It was very rarely the talent. It was the fact that no matter who we played, we always believed up here first and foremost that we were going to win the game. Like no matter
Gotcha.
what the score was, how talented,
Gotcha.
we always felt like we were going to find a way to win. Same thing at Ohio State. And it's like that's how I go into life too. Like you just
So after that whisper, when you're
yeah,
thinking about quitting after freshman,
yeah.
what happens next?
So after that, I alluded to it briefly, but I decided to stick with football. And my freshman year, I had one of my best years ever. The coach, he already had a vision for where he was going to put me at. Like I said, I was playing running back on the freshman team. He said, "You got a chance to start at DB." And he wasn't joking, man. I started at DB. I played corner and I played safety. And just to show how things play out, man, like this is just honestly how God's hand has really been on my life in ways that I can't even take credit for at all. When we were in the playoff, I think the second round of the playoffs, my sophomore year, the year that I almost quit, the year before I almost quit, we were in the playoffs, and our starting safety at that time, I was going to start at corner that particular game. Our starting safety ended up missing team meal, and George Smith don't play that. Like, so he missed team
I mean,
meal.
I want the people that are going to watch this to know that this isn't Staten Island football. This is
Yeah,
big time
yeah.
Florida football.
Oh
That
yeah,
high school football is like Texas. It
yeah,
is like playing, like you're at the University of Florida playing
yeah.
FSU.
Especially in
You
Broward.
miss a practice, you're gone.
Yeah. So
Right? George Smith,
like,
legendary.
he wasn't messing around. So our
No,
starting safety, he went to UCF Division One safety. Like
right.
bench did not play him. Right before the game comes to me, Nate, such and such didn't show up for Team Mill. You're starting at safety today.
There you go.
All right. I go in, man. I have the best game of my life still to this day. I have 3 interceptions,
Wow.
and we end up winning the game. We end up going to state that year also and winning state. That was the one year we won. We won state that we lost our first game my sophomore year, then went undefeated the rest of the year, won state. And then my junior and senior year, we went undefeated all the way to state and lost interstate championship. So that's the one year we actually won. And I had my best game in that game that year before I almost quit. And guess who was in the stands watching that day? It was Ohio State, Bill Conley, who was the guy that recruited our area. And that's where I got on their radar, where they started keeping an eye out
Here
for
you
me.
go. And they were
Yeah,
looking for someone else that game.
yeah. They were
They're
not looking
looking
at.
for Michael Irvin that game. Who was the coach at Ohio State back then?
So I was a part of Jim Tressel's first recruiting
There you
class.
go. There you go.
He had just
All
finished
right.
his season.
You're not going to shut the podcast down when I tell you I'm a Gator, right? No.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Long,
All right.
long as you're not a Wolverine, man,
Okay,
we're
there you go.
good.
Okay, so you get recruited and you wind up at Ohio State. You know,
Yep,
right? I mean,
yep, yep, yep.
you're playing two sports at Ohio State.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Are
was
you
the
going to tell
dream.
me you run a 4.2 as well?
I did run a 4.2. I was never the fastest. Like I was fast enough. I
You
had
must
game
be.
I
Yeah.
had game speed though. Like
That,
if you watch the film, you would never
I
say, "Oh,
did. I did,
yeah."
Nate. I did. Trust me. I got you down. I got you down, my brother. I got you down.
so, so I did. I went and I played football and basketball. Ultimately, I used my football scholarship to get me on a good D1 hoop because I had some lower D1 basketball offers, but I love basketball. I'm like, wherever I go, I'm telling them, like, you got to let me walk onto the basketball team too if you're going to give me a football scholarship. And Ohio State was a place that allowed me to do that. I had a dream, I had an opportunity to do that at the University of North Carolina also. But Ohio State was just something about it. From the moment I got there to the moment I left, it just felt right, man. It felt
Okay.
like the place that I was supposed to be. And then I go there. I played both my freshman year. My freshman year in football, we ended up having this crazy season. We win every game by like a field goal or overtime. And then we end up playing none other than the Miami Hurricanes in the national championship, where everybody told me I should have gone because they still to this day, they put together arguably the most talented college football team ever that year. And we end up beating them in the national championship in a wild, crazy game, man. So things like that have continued to happen, man. Whether it was me almost deciding to quit football, but choosing to do it, and coach putting me in a position, and I had the best game ever while Ohio State's there. I choose to go to Ohio State when people thought I was crazy. They were 8-4 the year before, and Miami Hurricanes had just won a national championship. And we go and play none other than the Miami Hurricanes and beat them in a national
There you
championship.
go.
And we don't look back ever since then. Like our Buckeye program has like been top five more than anybody else over that time frame, right? Consistently. And I don't know, it's just I'm just honored that, I've been able to be a part of things like that. And, quick thing, I just came from a funeral yesterday. Nick Mango, who was a starting center for the
Jets. Yeah.
we were the same
Our
recruiting
best
class.
friend's team that
Yeah,
I mourn with him
yeah,
over the not only that loss, but the Jets in general.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just came from that service yesterday, man. But it was just to be there and see to be with Coach Tressel and be with a lot of my old teammates, man. It's you just realize how fortunate you talk about journey. Like one of my favorite quotes ever is by Tony Dungy. It says life's about the journey. What you learn is more important than the test. And my youngest daughter's name is Journey for that reason. Like life is really all about the journey. We get so caught up in the next thing and hitting the next goal and hitting the next metric, making the next dollar amount that we lose sight of what's really most important. Is really who we're becoming in the process. That is really what's most important.
And
Because
we're going to talk about that left turn or right turn that happened to you in a minute, right? I mean,
yeah,
you made it to the NFL, right?
yeah,
You did your 4 years at Ohio State, or did you leave early?
yeah. I did 4 years there. Did 4 years.
Okay, got your degree, right?
Yep, got a degree in economics. Yep.
Economics. Okay, and you get drafted. Talk about, I've never had an experience like that. I mean,
Yeah.
where's it ranked? Children,
Early,
marriage, and
early
then and
so.
then draft day. I mean, if that doesn't land the way I think it lands, and you want to mix that up, I won't. I promise I won't show this to anyone else.
No,
Uh,
I would say I would say, definitely I would say getting married definitely is one. I married my high school sweetheart, man, so nothing better than that. And then that's what led to the children. So I say next would be the children.
what
And
about the
then
national championship versus
oh,
getting drafted?
the national championship would be those are neck and neck, right? For me, from a no national championship, then getting drafted, right? So because they're almost neck and neck because there are two things that I didn't even think about in the moment, but just from a legacy standpoint, like that, you don't realize it when that's happening. Like when your name gets called, like your name is you're forever known or remembered by that, or at least that's a part of your legacy forever. Like, and not even just yours. So now my son will forever be known as former fourth round draft pick, former Buckeye, former national champion, right? All that stuff is forever tied to all of our names, like to the legacy forever. So for me, that's why that's so impactful. I love the journey of like going to battle with my brothers and like fighting for something and not knowing, like going out on the field of play and not knowing what the outcome is going to be, but still going out there anyway, right? And knowing that, hey, this could be my last time even walking, but I'm willing to sacrifice it all for what me and these brothers have come together to try and accomplish. For me, that's the amazing feeling about it. I can care less about, the title. I don't even have like my mom. I care about it, but I don't. Like my mom has all my rings from like high school, college, all that stuff. Like I have helmets and jerseys collecting dust upstairs. Like that stuff is cool and all, but like it's really about like the stuff that we spoke about at Nick Mango's funeral, when we were catching up as buddies. You know what I mean? Like those
Yeah.
moments, those memories, like that's what it's really all about. Because all that other stuff comes and goes, man. So I don't even know where I'm at on the question right now. I know you asked
Yeah,
me
yeah,
what
just
I rank it.
the feeling of that accomplishment, whether or not it's the brotherhood, or just that feeling of
Yeah,
going through that. I call it Hell Week. Training camp,
yeah,
and accomplishing that goal with your teammates, and
yeah,
just making that accomplishment. Whether or not it's getting drafted, your childhood dream, winning
yeah,
that national championship. That
yeah,
feeling. That moment.
yeah.
What's that
I
moment
say
like?
it's amazing, man, and I still it's hard. It's like there 3A and 3B to be honest, because all of it is so much more than just you to get to that point. Whether it's a national championship, you have so many things that have to fall your way, and different things have to go right. And even if you make it to the like making it to the NFL and getting drafted was like wow. When I really took a look back at everything that had to go, especially after I got hurt when I was playing, when I was in my NFL career, you realize how much things have to go right in order for you to even make it to that point, to even be considered. Like it's really a miracle when you think about it.
Right.
So you just realize how many other like how far it is beyond just you that was required for you to get to that point. Whether it's a family member that was there to support, mom and dad being there when they needed to be there, friends supporting when they needed to, to just be in that listening ear when you needed. Just a lot of coaches and teammates and it's fans, all that stuff has to come together like perfectly to
Just
yeah. So
getting
it's
drafted to the right team, getting the right opportunity.
all that stuff, man. All
Yeah.
that stuff.
Think about some of these quarterbacks that get drafted, go to the wrong team, and then they go maybe get traded to another team and then they flourish. And
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
because of the
man.
wrong opportunities. I
Yeah,
mean, I've had the opportunity to be around some athletes that's happened to and
yeah,
all those things. So let's talk about your NFL career for a few minutes
yeah, yeah.
and some of the opportunities you had and some of the disappointments you had on some of the injuries you had that sort of cut your career short.
Yeah, yeah. The journey, making it to the league was a dream come true. Hearing your name called, and uh, one of my old college teammates, a guy named Chris Gamble. He's from Fort Lauderdale too. He went to Dillard High School, so
Hmm.
Dillard is the Panthers. So the
Yeah,
moment I got drafted, he was already here. He was like, "Oh yeah, you a Panther now?" So he's like, because
there you
he knew
go.
that was a rival school. But that was a dream come true, man. To be able, and I was able to come here. I had two former Buckeye teammates here that were already here in Carolina, and I had a dude that I actually went to middle school with, Stanley McGlover. His brother's Brian Burns, who plays for the New York Giants now. Like
Right.
he was here. So to have that, to have people I kind of grew up with in middle school and also competed against in high school, and we're all on this same team in the NFL living this dream. That was amazing. And then I
Let
got
me ask
cut.
something, Nate, because you sound real level-headed. Did you have a plan B?
I, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. I would always tell myself, "Hey, football is what I do, not who I am." I always say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a businessman." I never forget, man. I had a kid ask me that question. I was speaking doing an engagement. He said, "Hey, if you weren't playing football, what would you do?" And in my head, I'm scrambling. I had no idea. And a lot of us in the middle of it, we were chasing this dream and like, well, if it ended right now, I start a business or I do. But it's like I had no legitimate clue of what I was gonna. And the crazy thing was like I did things by the book pretty much. If you look at it,
Right.
like I went to school, I got my degree in economics. I didn't just get any kind of degree. I wanted to do something I knew I could fall back on or that I can build something on as I'm playing. And it's still when the game ended for me, I had no idea what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And that
You
was the
don't
dark.
sound like a guy that took your paycheck, your first paycheck, and bought a Lamborghini, right?
Nah, nah, nah.
Right.
My
Right.
first paycheck wasn't that big anyway. So
Right.
yeah.
I got you. But you sound pretty pragmatic about things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't buy a lot. Even still to this day, I'm not a big purchase kind of guy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so you
My
didn't have
first,
a plan B, but you got drafted,
yeah,
made it to the Panthers. You
yeah.
had some people there,
Yeah,
kind
had some good
of.
people here, some support, a good support system. At the end of my rookie year, my rookie preseason, I got cut, the last cut of the preseason,
Oh,
and I'm thinking I'm coming in, and I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna be all right. I'm drafted fourth round. I'm number two on the depth chart pretty much all summer camp. I'm like, all right, I'll be fine. I made some plays, did well in the preseason. But they had brought in a guy, a veteran, primarily for special teams, and he was hurt the whole preseason too. So I thought, oh, I'm definitely good. No, I got cut. And then they brought me right back and brought me on the practice squad for like 2 weeks, and then they brought me right up because one of our safeties injured their
so
ankle.
what'd that feel like? I mean, did you get blindsided by that?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you how blindsided I was. Like you talk about purchases, my first purchase I made, I'm like the best investment I can make with this money right now would be to get a house. Like just give me a space instead of I'm like I'm probably gonna be here at least 3 years, so I'm not gonna rent and give money away. So I'm gonna get a house, nothing too crazy. Um, so that's what I did. So right after I had just closed on my house, like maybe within days. And then I think the Dolphins were our last preseason game. The Dolphins or the Steelers. The Steelers were our last preseason game. And they called me after the Steelers game and said I was cut. As I'm sitting in my empty house with no furniture that we
Wow.
had just closed on. So that was devastating, man. I was like, what in the world? That's kind of like my welcome to the NFL moment, to be honest. So I ended up getting cut. Like I said, they brought me right back, so things worked out well. And then going into my second year, like I said, I only know how to do things one way. So whether I was given a look as the wide receiver, acting like
So
I'm,
wait, so you get cut, you're sitting in your house.
yeah, yeah,
What do you do?
cry.
Yeah.
cried, and
Right. Do you call home and say, guess what?
my mom and they were already there. They were
Yeah.
there because my mom helped because I was in camp, and my mom helped close with the house and helped handle everything. And then my now wife, then girlfriend, was there too. And we're at the house. I never forget getting that call and sitting in our empty master bedroom and just crying, like not sure what was happening. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
you have that moment, and then soon after that, it's like, all right, well, what's next? You got to suck it up. And then they told me that they were going to bring me right back as long as nobody signed me off waivers, and they brought me right back the very next day. So they were true to their word, and they really
But
did
where
want
they
me.
brought you back at a different paycheck.
Yeah, no. So I still as far as my rookie contract, I still signed my contract, and I
Oh,
still
okay. All
signing
right.
bonus, all that stuff. So all that was
So,
still I was so
so that
that,
wasn't
that's where
okay.
the money
Good.
came from for me to get down payment on the house and all that stuff. It's like I
Okay.
had it. You know what I mean? I had that part of it,
Okay.
but
So that was a relief.
that was a relief for sure to have a little something in the bank.
Yeah.
So and then I knew I'm like somebody's gonna pick me up, like
Okay.
whether
So you had a little bit of we'll call it a plan B,
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
plan B.
Yeah, so that
And,
happened. So, like I'm the backup that whole year, and they end up, like I said, they bring me back. Our one of our safeties rolls his ankle in the game against I think the Vikings, and that gets me up to play on the main squad. And like I said, I do things one way, man. So whether I want to look squad like acting like I'm Andre Johnson for the Houston Texans, or whether I'm playing corner or safety, like I only know how to do it one way, and I'm working and just doing things the way that I know how to do it. And they going into my second year, they end up not drafting another safety, and they said I'm their guy. And I had finally earned my starting spot. And it's funny because when I look at my whole journey from sports, Little League, I played offensive line and defensive line, like stuff that nobody wants to play first, and then I was a starter pretty much my second year. In high school, freshman year, I played, running back on the freshman team just here and there. Second year, I'm a starter on varsity. Ohio State, I was a backup mainly my freshman year, kickoff, special teams. Second year, I'm a starter. So at that point, I'm like, oh man, it's kind of like a pattern. Like second year, this is my year. You know what I mean? In camp my second year, and I'm having the best camp I've ever had in my life, like in the best shape ever. Like the game is like moving extremely slow to me. It's like it's time. I've
it,
arrived.
it,
You know what I mean? Like
you
I'm
know Cuba Gooding, man. You're all heart.
yeah, and it's like I was ready,
Show
man.
me the money.
Having the best camp of my life, and we're like a couple weeks in the camp, and I go up covering the guy man to man, break up the pass, and I land on my leg like just a normal fall, but just the impact of it, I tear my PCL, which is what I initially thought was what ended everything, but I actually tore some tendon damage on the inside of my knee. It's something called pes anserinus. So I injured the PCL. I thought that's what it was. We tried to rehab the PCL. I kept trying to rush back because I'm like, man, I got to keep my spot. Like, come on,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this is my time. I missed the whole season. We go on injured reserve. I come back my third year, played pretty much on one leg, and they didn't trust me then because I got hurt while they had me as a starter. Now I'm the main backup. I played that whole year on one leg, and then going into my fourth year, same day of practice, covering a very similar route. I'm just running full speed, and my knee gives out on me again. And no one knows what's going on. MRIs don't show it, X-rays don't show it. And long story short, that's where I found out that I had this random injury called pes anserinus on the inside of my knee. And I ended up finding that out, but the Panthers had already cut me at that point in time, going through this whole process. And then I end up finding that out. I get that healed, and I come back and play in a league they had called the UFL, like the original
Yeah.
UFL,
Right.
with a team called the Florida Tuskers. So I'm out there playing on one leg again. And towards the end of that season, things were getting better. I'm playing better, getting more and more playing time. And I go to make a cut. And all of this has been on my right knee the whole time. I make a cut on my left leg, tear my meniscus on my left knee. And at this point, I've been rehabbing like 3 out of 4 years. Haven't been able to put a ton of film out. And that time goes by, man, and people forget about you, you know what I mean? Unless you've been one of those guys. And that's kind of what happened, man. So that was similar to getting that call and getting cut and sitting in my empty house. Me having to walk into that room after finding out I tore my meniscus and just knowing that the game was over. that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life, man. And I was just so grateful to those coaches and just grateful because no one knew what was wrong with my knee. So I didn't know if I would ever even play again ever. So I was just grateful that I had an opportunity to step out on the field and do what I loved again. But I knew it was over, man. And at that point, that was tough. I went through like a year to 2 years of just this like gray area, man. I didn't know whether I was coming or going or what I was really waking up for and trying to accomplish. And um, fortunately, after that, like not long after that, my wife, she met this lady who was in corporate recruiting, and she came home and was like, "Babe, I met this lady. She does corporate recruiting, and she was telling me about it. I think you'd be great at it." And for me, in that moment, I'm like, "Yeah, you tired of me moping around here writing sad songs and sad poems. I love writing. That's an outlet for me." And I'm like, "You're just trying to get me out of the house." I'm like, but after I sat and thought about it, I said, all right, I'll look at it and see what it's about. And in corporate recruiting, you have to be very team oriented, you have to be goal oriented, you have to be competitive, you have to be resilient. So all the stuff when I talk about one
All the
way,
boxes were checked.
you know what I mean? So that's what led me to that route. I started looking at different opportunities and found a company called Aerotech, man, a staffing firm, and they gave me a shot, man. And I'm so grateful that I did that. I ended up spending 5 years with that organization. And I tell everyone, I say that was like my MBA program, man. I learned more about myself as a man and as a businessman than I had at any other point in my life because of the time that I spent there and the things that they exposed me to. And I was, selling for and recruiting to different manufacturing distribution organizations throughout Charlotte and metropolitan areas. And I'm negotiating with CEOs and I'm helping people, write resumes and helping them interview prep and all this type of stuff. And I ended up doing that for 10 years in my career, in my corporate career, and found myself 8 out of those 10 years in leadership positions. Like
Got
always
it.
finding myself in this leadership role. And October 10th, 2017, I had this moment that was like pivotal for me where I was sitting at my cubicle at work and I was grateful because I built a solid career after playing ball, was making good money in a good situation, but I knew I wasn't living anywhere near the potential that I had been put on this earth for. And in that moment, it bothered me more than it ever had at any other point in my life. And what I did was I sat down. I said, "Hey, every team I've been a part of, every company I've been fortunate to be a part of, they've always had a clear-cut mission or a vision statement that makes it clear to me what I'm here for every day." But I said, "Man, I don't even have that for my own life. I had a wife at the point. I had 2 kids. I have 3 kids now. But I'm like, that's not my purpose or my mission in life. Like, that's my responsibility. I'm gonna take care of that no matter what. But what was I uniquely designed for and created for? And how could I live in alignment with that?" And like I said, the fact that I couldn't answer that, it bothered me. So I wrote my own personal mission statement that ultimately led to me understanding that my purpose in life is to inspire transformation in the lives of others. And I gathered that by looking at my journey and realizing that whether I was playing ball in my neighborhood, it was always, "Hey, Nate, you're the captain." Little League, "Nate, you're the captain." High school, "Nate, you're the captain." College, I'll never forget, we had a guy, just bumped into him yesterday, named Troy Smith, who ends up being a Heisman Trophy winner, one of the most alpha males ever, ultimate
Know
leader.
him well. Not
Yeah, so
personally, but I saw
yeah,
him run over the Gators a few times.
yeah. So yeah, y'all ran him over a little bit in that national
Oh,
championship.
yes, we did. I wasn't going to
That
bring that up, but yes, we
it's all
did.
good. That's my boy. That's my boy. He had a great career, and like I said, he won a Heisman Trophy. So, but the ultimate leader, I'll never forget. We were in our freshman year in the dorms, man, and giving each other a hard time, like we were doing yesterday, like a bunch of kids, talking trash to each other. And out of nowhere, he's like, "Man, you're gonna be a captain," and he starts calling me Captain Nate from that day forward. And like so, people have always just saw something there with me. And like I said, I got done playing ball. And my first real job, a year in, I get promoted to a leadership role. 8 months into my next role, 5 years later, I get promoted to a leadership role. So people have just always saw something there. So that's kind of where I realized, like, all right, I get it. Like that's what you put me here for, is to lead and positively impact the lives of others, and ultimately, like I mentioned, to inspire transformation. So that clarity, I'll save the whole story, but that clarity then eventually led to me beginning my business, which is Audible Coaching and Consulting, which exists to help blue collar executives. And I focus on blue collar executives because that's kind of the organic bucket that I kind of landed in based off my recruiting and sales career, combined with my football and sports career. Kind of that's where I started landing the most opportunities, and the most opportunities started to present themselves. So I strive to help blue collar executives align with their purpose so they can experience more fulfilled personal and professional lives. And I do that through my executive life coaching and through motivational speaking. And all in all, I'm grateful that I get to utilize every portion of my journey, whether it's my upbringing to sports to corporate America to being an entrepreneur now. And I'm able to utilize every portion of the journey to now pour into the lives of others and help to make a difference, man. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't change this for anything in the world what I get to do
So
for
let
a
me
living.
throw a couple of phrases that I picked up from you
All right, please do.
doing my research on you.
All right.
And you go from there.
Yep.
Clear on your vision.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So if I threw that out to a blue collar executive, what would you tell them about being clear on their vision?
That's one of, if not the most important thing you can ever do, right?
Your
As
team's got
far
to
as
believe that you're clear on your vision when you come to work every day, right?
most definitely, and you need to be clear on it first and foremost before you try to get everyone else clear on it, right? It's almost like if I put up to your house, Larry, and I say, "Hey, Larry, uh, let's hit the road, man. Let's hit the road. We come hopping. I got an RV. Let's hit the road." What's the first thing you're gonna ask me?
Where are we going?
Where are we going? Exactly.
Where are we
So
going?
as leaders, like we're stepping into situations all the time, telling people, "Hey, I got this RV. Come on, let's roll. Trust me, I got it." Right? And the first
Right.
thing people want to know, like, where are you taking me? Where are we going? Right? So for me, I think the at the foundation of everything that I do, whether it's clear on vision, clear on your purpose, what you're here for, that's the ultimate thing that I want to help individuals and organizations be crystal clear on, right? Because you can have all the greatest strategy and processes and things. All this
Right.
can be amazing up here, but if this foundation isn't right, you're gonna get to this mountaintop and still wonder, like, is this it? Is this what I sacrificed all that time for, all that effort for, for this? Because the foundation isn't right. Or you're gonna try to build and get as high as you want, and it's gonna crumble, right? So at the end of the day, that's the thing that I believe God has given me a gift that to specialize in is really helping people get to the core and the foundation of who they are, why they're that way, and why they're striving to accomplish whatever it is they're striving to accomplish. But now you can build on a very strong foundation versus trying to, build on something that's very faulty. So that's what clear on vision
We'll
means
give
for
you
me.
one more. And I took it from you.
All good.
Trust is a verb.
Oh yeah, man. So
That's yours, not mine.
oh, yeah, for sure, for
There you
sure.
go.
It's a verb, and which we all know, we've been to school, a verb means it takes action. So a lot of times we say, I'll just go back to the story I shared earlier. I said I felt something when I saw my uncle walk across the stage. I felt something say, "Hey, you're going to college." I trusted that. Meaning, I could have easily sat there and said, "Oh man, it would be a great idea to maybe go to college one day. I can be the one that may be able to do it," right? But no, it was not just me feeling that in that moment. I believed that and I trusted it. So I started taking action that was in alignment with it, right? And there are millions of graveyards all over the world filled with ideas that could have changed the world, but for whatever reason, those individuals did not act on them. They had a great idea. They might have even put together an amazing plan that could have changed the world, changed the industry that they're in forever. But they didn't act on them. They didn't have somebody like myself, like yourself, maybe that can support them, encourage them, hold them accountable, help them reach levels that they couldn't even imagine they would reach on their own. But for those who do accomplish great things, they had that moment and they trusted it. They took action that was in alignment with what that purpose was they believed they were called to. And that's how they're living these amazing lives, or doing things that no one else has ever done before because they're the ones that were put here to do it. Like, so all of us, we have things that we are uniquely designed and wired and created for, and that we were put here to do, that no one else is put here to do it. We are the ones that are supposed to do it. And until we act on it, those things won't come to fruition, man, unless it gets passed to another
And that's
generation.
exactly what I wrote down. And that was my next thing. Take action.
Yeah,
So,
man.
so these are your words and these are from you. And I always end my podcast. I was at a Christmas party and we exchanged gifts and I got this box and I'm like, I gave a great gift and this person gave me this thing. And I opened it up.
Mm,
Let me put this down for a second.
yeah.
And I opened it up and I was like, what is this? And these cards and you open it up and you read the card and then you get a response. So,
Mm.
and I just grabbed it and I'm going to read it and then you got to respond to it. And I
All
don't
right.
know what it's going to say. So, how often do you know you're right, but let it go to avoid an argument?
Oh, Oh, so I I struggle with that. I don't ever do
All right.
that.
Hey, that's fair.
I don't because I'm not confrontational, but I'm also not going to silence myself to the point that I'm gonna, disturb not just my peace, but what I'm like one of my core values is like I gotta do what's right. You know what I mean? Like, and if it's not right, I can't sleep well at night. You know what I mean? So
No wrong answer, Nate. No wrong
even
answer here.
even down to like that's a big reason why I coach my son's football team. Like I help coach because I know that there's stuff that goes on sometimes, daddy ball and all that, that you have to have a fair voice in there. You know what I mean? I'm big on being just and being fair. Like that is like a non-negotiable for me. So for me, when I hear that, it's like I don't think I ever do that because if
All
it's
right,
right,
Nate.
I'm gonna always fight for
So I got a question for you. Off topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
This new society we have where they give trophies even when you lose. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank
I'm
you
the
for that
guy.
answer. I see what's coming.
Even as a kid, I would throw second and third place trophies in the garbage on the way out the tournament. Like,
There you go.
especially not just because of we have to win or it's nothing else. If I knew I didn't play to my potential or my team didn't, that's just a constant reminder that I'm like, no.
So sports are
So
still alive and well in America. Thank you.
most
Thank you for that
definitely, most
answer from an former
definitely.
NFL player. Nate, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. You're an amazing, amazing guest. I hope we get so many people watching this because you've got a lot to give and a lot for people to learn from this. And your journey is special, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate you, man. Maybe we'll connect while I'm down there at some point. Have to get a coffee.
Absolutely. Please,
Yeah.
you got to come back to the hood, man. Why
Yeah,
not?
for sure. Always, baby.
I
Always.
don't know the last time you've been here, but Fort Lauderdale is exploded. You won't even
Oh, I know.
recognize it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
come down at least twice a year. My wife, like I said, we've been together since high school, so I'm
Yeah.
back quite a
There you
bit. So
go.
yeah.
Hold on, Michelle. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. For the people to watch, what's your website and how can people get a hold of you and all the
Thanks,
good things?
Michelle. Thanks. Keep us on track, Michelle. I appreciate
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
So my website is simply at natesalley.com. So you can look me up there. On Instagram, I'm at the Audible Coach. It's TheAudible Coach, COACH. So at the Audible Coach, and then on LinkedIn, I'm just Nate Salley. So and it's NateSalley. You can find me I'm mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram the most, and then I put videos on YouTube here and there as well. And then, like I said, my website, natesalley.com, pretty straightforward. And you can see all the information around my speaking, around my coaching, any way I can potentially serve individuals or their organizations. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Absolutely. Let's keep in touch, please.
We'll do. We'll do. I appreciate you, Larry.
All right, buddy. This has been Finding the Beat. Remember, sometimes the best plays in life are the ones you call on instinct. Until next time, keep listening for your beat.